when Jessica looked me square in the eyes and said, "Michael, we have separate lives. You don't need to know where I go or what I do." Something inside me snapped. For years, I had been the reliable husband, covering the bills, fixing the leaky faucets, showing up to every family gathering with a smile glued to my face. Jessica had been distant for months, glued to her phone, always busy with friends I had never met. I told myself it was just a phase, that all marriages hit quiet spells. But that night, her words didn't feel like a passing phase. They sounded like a sentence. She wasn't just asking for space. She was telling me I didn't matter. I leaned back in my chair, forcing calm. "Separate lives?" I repeated slowly. She shrugged, scrolling through her messages like I wasn't even in the room. "Fine," I said, nodding once. "Separate lives, then. But if that's how you want it, Jessica, then we'll have separate wallets too." Her head shot up. "What do you mean?" I meant I'd been carrying the financial weight of this marriage while she carried whatever else it was she'd been up to. "If I'm not your partner in life, I won't be your ATM either." Her face twisted with shock and anger. "You wouldn't dare." "Oh, I would," I said. I stood, grabbed my laptop, and began transferring funds into an account under my name alone. For years, I trusted her with part of our savings, but I had always kept a secret safety net. Tonight, it finally came into play. Jessica's voice rose. "You can't just cut me off. That's not how marriage works." I laughed, bitter. "Marriage? You just told me we don't have one. You want freedom? Fine. But don't expect me to bankroll your separate life." For the first time in years, I saw fear in her eyes. I realized then that Jessica had only been bold because she believed I'd never push back. But now she was about to discover just how wrong she was. She tried to regain control, but her voice trembled. "Michael, don't be ridiculous. You can't just lock me out financially. We built this life together." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "Built together? Or did I build while you enjoyed the view? Be honest. You haven't paid the mortgage in years. The vacations, the car, the credit cards for dinners I'm never invited to. That's all me. All me." Her lips parted, but no words came. For once, she had no ready comeback. The next morning, I followed through. I rerouted my paycheck, froze the joint account, and placed the credit cards under review. By lunchtime, Jessica's phone buzzed with declined charges. When I came home that evening, she was pacing the living room, furious. "What the hell, Michael? My car wouldn't work at the salon. Do you realize how embarrassing that was?" I set down my briefcase calmly. "Not as embarrassing as realizing your wife considers herself single while spending her husband's money." Her eyes narrowed. "So this is punishment? You're trying to control me?" "No," I said evenly. "I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. Separate lives. That means your bills, your luxuries, your secrets, you handle them. I'll handle mine." Her face turned pale. She liked the freedom of doing whatever she wanted, but also the safety of knowing my paycheck was covering her life. Without that, she was exposed. That week, cracks started to show. Her so-called friends stopped inviting her out when she couldn't pick up the tab. She skipped yoga classes and canceled hair appointments. Slowly, the glamorous life she'd built on my dime began to unravel. One night, I found her sitting silently at the kitchen table, scrolling her phone. She barely noticed me. "Something wrong?" I asked. She looked up, eyes red. "Michael, can we talk?" I didn't mean what I said about separate lives. I was just angry. "No, Jessica," I said, shaking my head. "You meant every word. Now you're just upset because living separately isn't as fun when you actually have to pay for it." Her apology sounded hollow, rehearsed. I'd heard it all before. Every time I pulled back, she dangled a promise of change, only to return to her old ways. This time, I didn't take the bait. I sat across from her, letting silence hang. "Jessica," I said finally, "you're not sorry. You're scared. Scared of losing the comfort you had while playing at independence." Tears welled in her eyes. "That's not true. I love you, Michael. I was just confused." I shook my head slowly. Love doesn't look like secrecy, late nights, hidden texts, or brushing off your partner. Love isn't telling your husband you want separate lives and expecting him to fund them. I raised a hand before she could argue. "I've spoken to a lawyer. Counts are split. The house will be sold, proceeds divided fairly. You'll get your share, enough to live on if you budget wisely, but you won't be living off me anymore." The color drained from her face. For the first time, panic replaced smug defiance. She wasn't ready to stand alone. Over the next few weeks, the process moved fast. I moved into a smaller apartment downtown. Quiet, peaceful mine. Jessica tried calling, sending tearful messages about starting fresh, but I ignored them. I'd already started my new life, and it didn't include her. One Saturday morning, walking along the river, I ran into an old friend, Megan. We hadn't seen each other in years, but conversation flowed naturally. No games, no jabs, no power struggles, just laughter and shared memories. It hit me. I'd been starving for this kind of honest connection, something Jessica hadn't offered in years. By the time the divorce papers were signed, Jessica looked like a shadow of the woman who once strutted through life on my arm. She avoided my gaze, muttering, "Goodbye, Michael," barely above a whisper. I walked away with my head high, my future wide open. For the first time in years, I wasn't just surviving a draining marriage. I was free, and freedom, I realized, was worth more than anything she ever pretended to be.